The moment police made the discovery, finally entering the flat of Sheila Selane. She hadn't been seen since 2019. For 2.5 years, the corpse of the 61-year-old sat on the sofa. No one noticed. She'd died. Today, the MP for Peckham called for a full investigation into her death.
I think there should be an inquiry, because look at what's happened here. A woman has died alone in her flat and her body has not been discovered for years. So I think that really questions have to be answered. None of us want to think that we're in the sort of situation where that could happen, that a woman could lie undiscovered dead in her flat.
Her post had been piling up for more than 2 years. But residents we spoke to yesterday said they'd raised concerns with the housing association about a dead, rotting smell and an infestation of flies.
The only time you see flies in a swarm like this is if someone's passed away. I called my housing and told them about the flies, and they said it was the drains.
Campaigners say this is yet another example of tenants not being listened to by housing associations.
Ceiling, I mean, this has been going on since Boxing Day. It was first.
Kwajo Tweneboa has been exposing Britain's worst council housing and has gone viral on social media.
What's your reaction to a woman dying in her home and not being noticed for more than 2 years?
It's a sort of worst case scenario of neglect of tenants, social housing tenants, in regards to this housing association that I've come across in terms of tenants that I've worked with in the past that have suffered with disrepair. For someone to be left for so long in a property dead, ultimately, without anyone going there to check, is just a failure like I've never seen before.
Today, the Housing Secretary admitted to ITV News that the government had failed social housing tenants, particularly after the Grenfell fire.
The Grenfell tragedy was a tragedy of many dimensions. One of the things that everyone pledged to do afterwards was to make sure that people in social housing had their voices heard. And we haven't done that effectively.
Tonight, the Housing Association in Peckham told us they clearly hadn't done enough here and are investigating how this happened. Rags Martel, ITV News.